for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about how friendship ain't always easy. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
Meryl can't fix her mirror without some extra dimensional help. She needs to see the demon that started her journey in the first place back at Sundermount. But the demon is no longer in his prison of stone. Instead, Keeper Marathari has a surprise for her wayward student. Can the Dalish clan survive Meryl's pride?
Yeah, I know a thing or two about friendships being really difficult. Let me tell you, some friends are just really a pain in the ass, but because you love them, you stick it out, you stay with them, and then do a podcast with them.
That's not a nice thing to say about Jen.
Ha 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 ha.
You should be nicer to Jen. She puts up with a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
Anyway, if it wasn't clear, this mission is about Meryl's loyalty mission, or her loyalty quest, companion quest, whatever terminology they use in Dragon Age that is basically the same as Mass Effect.
Yeah, and I think it changes from game to game too. Like, it's not a clear, because I think they're called companion quests in Veilguard, maybe. Well, they're listed under companion in this for sure. Like, they're the way the drop down menus are for the quest log. There's like main, secondary, side quests, and then companion quests. So I guess companion quests works for this.
All right. So we have to start at Meryl's lovely home, where we have a conversation.
Yes, although before this conversation, I gift her an elven ring because I apparently had gotten that at some point between last mission and this mission, which I could have given to her at any time, and I guess I just never did. So I did that. She was very grateful.
Yeah, I didn't do that yet, I don't think. I don't remember.
I don't remember where I got it. I don't, maybe I bought it at the Dalish camp? I don't know.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Well, for me, this conversation starts off kind of aggressive because Meryl says, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I need your help, because we are more rivals than friends, which I think is sad because I do think she's nice. I just don't really agree with her lifestyle, I guess. You know, we talk about addiction, and I think she's addicted to the Eluvian and the power that she thinks it can bring to her people, and I think that can be really dangerous. And some people don't like having other people express concern.
Yeah, although, so I'm not a rival with her. I'm somewhere in the middle still. And so she is like more eager to ask for help. But yeah, I think what's weird about Meryl also is that she never really feels that shameful for what she's doing. Like,
no, I don't think she's ashamed at all.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fine because she doesn't think what she's doing is wrong. And
Right.
I understand her viewpoint. I just think that when you're so deep in it, it's hard for you to see how it's hurting you and the people around you.
For sure. Totally.
So I understand Meryl's resistance to hearing someone say, hey, I'm kind of worried about like what this is doing to you in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has parallels to substance abuse. It has parallels to like abusive partners. I think it has parallels to like these things that when you're in it, it's hard to see the forest for the trees until someone said, alcohol abuse, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I think it mirrors those. It's hard to see it's the problem that it is because to you, it's not. It's plainly not. And it's not until other people bring up that it is that you might actually start to have a reaction one way or the other.
So Meryl tells us that the Eluvian won't work, and she includes a little aside saying, which I'm sure is news that fills your heart with joy. And it doesn't fill my heart with joy, but it does make me a little relieved.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't have these interactions. She's pretty plain with me because we're not rivals yet.
Yeah, I think she sees you as more of a friend and she can be more frank with you. Whereas because I have kind of pushed back against her experience as a blood mage,
Yeah.
she doesn't see me as someone that she can really trust.
This will be relevant, so let's just stick that in our craw for later.
Okay.
Just the way she's treating you and the way I've treated her in the past is important to bring up as we make our decisions as we move through this quest.
Okay. So she wants to go back to the spirit that helped her at the start of it all. And I know that there's a difference between a spirit and a demon. A spirit is the essence of a virtue, while a demon is the corrupted form of that virtue. Let's not talk about justice and vengeance.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
While we know this difference, I'm happy for Meryl to work with spirits.
Yeah.
But isn't it unusual for spirits to want blood?
Yes, correct.
So, I don't know. She does ask us to kill her if things go wrong. So she is aware that there's this risk.
Yeah. And like she's doing this for the right reasons, which is why I think it makes it harder. I'm assuming you took your usual crew with you on this mission.
Yes, I dropped Varric for Meryl.
Yeah, I dropped Isabella for Meryl, I believe, because I wanted to have Fenris and Anders with me.
No rogues. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oops, no rogues.
Exactly, right? Well, I also knew that. I knew Anders would have stuff to say. Anders has been, like, I like him as a character. He's been particularly mean and rude to Meryl, which I get why, but it's a bummer. Like, it's really a bummer. Like, Fenris tries, and, like, in their conversations, like, sometimes she'll pull him back a bit, but Anders is just rude and shuts her down 90% of the time.
Honestly, all of my party banter has been between Fenris and Meryl, and Fenris being like aggressively against her entire existence, basically.
Yeah.
And she tries to push back against him, but I mean, he makes a little bit of a good point.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just like, oh, guys, I know, we're all so stressed. Yeah. So we accepted.
Yes, the quest.
This quest. I did suggest that she talk to the keeper first, but she did not like that idea.
I didn't even suggest it because I knew she wouldn't, and so I just said I'd help. And from my Hawk's perspective at this point, like, I've given her a lot of grace, but I think I'm starting to draw the line. And basically my logic here was I'll help because I want to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Right. Which, speaking of, as we approach Sundermount, does Meryl say to you something along the lines of, you wanted to save me, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so she says that to me too. To me, it feels very painting Hawk as holier than thou.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that is my attitude towards her. Like, I don't think that, for example, Anders is any better than she is. I think that she's struggling, and I think that she's in trouble and that she needs help. And I don't think that I need to be the one that saves her. I just want her to make good choices.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel a little bit like I do know better than her because I am a mage and like I've seen all of this stuff. And so I feel like.
So you are holier than thou.
A little bit, yeah.
For me, she seems determined. She's an adult. I'm not going to stand in the way of her doing this, but I'll be there. I'll fight some demons.
Yeah, obviously.
There are a lot of obstacles leading up to this spirit of Meryl's. Actually, I did decide not to talk to Marithari because I knew Meryl wouldn't want to. I did suggest it, but she was like, meh.
Yeah, I didn't either. I just made a beeline for Sundermount.
Yeah. Anders does try to talk Meryl out of it, but she refuses to budge. And she compares it to the plight of mages in Kirkwall, but girl, that is not the same.
No, they are very different.
Like, they're, like, different in so many ways. Not even to say that one issue is more serious than the other. They're both very serious issues. They're just, like, born of different aspects of society. And, like, you can't compare them, I don't think.
Also, comparing tragedies doesn't solve anything. Like it's a straw man argument because you're just trying to say this is important too because it's like that thing instead of just stating why your thing is important. You have to compare it to something else.
Her whole thing is, I'll give up blood magic when you stop trying to fight for the mages of Kirkwall. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That makes no sense, Meryl. Like, nobody wants you to stop fighting for the Dalish, but we would like it if you didn't put your life at risk.
Yes, correct.
We would like that, please.
Yeah.
I really did pick the two biggest Meryl haters in my squad to come with me to this.
I mean, so did I. Mostly because I need a tank and a healer is mostly why I did that.
But they are the biggest Meryl haters.
Yeah, there's no sympathy for Meryl. Like, honestly, Varric is probably her biggest fan.
Yeah. Fenris asks about the demon, and Meryl explains that the demon had called to her and the Keeper in their dreams, which, yeah, that's super promising.
Yeah, that seems like bad news.
Super safe. I'm just gonna skip over like all the combat because who cares? We do discover that the demon is no longer in the idol that was his prison. What was your response to that? Do you remember?
This is bad.
I say we'll track it down.
Yeah.
But Meryl's distressed because he shouldn't have been able to leave. And that's when Marithari walks up to reveal that because the demon wanted Meryl to finish the mirror so he could use it to escape into our world and kill Meryl in the process, she decided to save Meryl's life and sacrifice herself.
Yeah. And tells us that the only way to kill the demon now is to kill her.
Right. So we fight the demon, and she explains that she made herself the vessel for the demon.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been destroyed. And like you said, we have to kill her to kill it.
Right.
Because she couldn't fight it in the Fade without making it stronger. So I do think that it's really fucked up that Marithari made this decision without consulting anyone.
I agree.
Like, write Hawk a letter.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, Meryl's demon situation is getting worse. I need to let you in on my plan. It sucks, but you have to kill me, okay? Instead of traumatizing this person who's basically a child, like your child.
Yeah.
Like you raised her.
Very upset and angry that Marithari made this decision without her.
Right. And Marithari says, I've chosen to pay the price for you, but it's not Marithari's right to do that. Meryl made her decisions, and we don't agree with them, but she's an adult, and she made these decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Marithari becomes a pride demon. Yay!
Yep, and we fight it, and it's your standard pride demon battle. It's not very difficult. And then once you beat the pride demon, she changes back into Marithari, and she says that you did it, you've defeated the demon, we're all safe. And you're given two options. You can either say, that's a relief that it's over, or didn't you say we needed to kill you? Which did you choose?
Yeah, when she says, like, you've beaten it, Dalen. You're so much stronger than I imagined. I'm like, you're not Marithari.
Yeah, I immediately
Marithari would never.
Yeah, correct.
So I said, you told us that you had to die?
Yeah, that's what I chose as well.
Yeah. So Meryl does a final strike, which super traumatizing.
Yep.
And Meryl is talking about how she listened, or like she's like super upset and she's traumatized. And she's saying how like she did everything Marithari wanted. And for me, she wasn't listening.
Well, right. So, yeah, she says that it should have been me. It shouldn't have been you. I would have happily paid that price. And the response I chose also was to say you weren't listening. She was trying to tell you that this was bad for a ton of reasons, and you didn't listen.
So while I don't think Marithari should have made this choice for Meryl, I think that Marithari being the price is more important to Meryl's narrative.
Agreed.
So, like, practically in a realistic way, like, hey, Marithari, you shouldn't have done that. But narratively, it makes sense because Marithari was like the one thing that kept Meryl going. Like, she was a mother to Meryl. So losing that connection, the only person remaining in the Dalish clan who tolerates her, severs her connection with the Dalish. So that is the ultimate price that she paid. So ultimately, Meryl did pay a price.
Yeah, and she's very upset. Like, the thing that's interesting about Meryl's character is, though she is a blood mage and though she is engaging with demons and dark magic, somehow her heart has remained pretty pure, and so she still takes this all so hard. She's hysterical and feels the weight of the blame. She doesn't, while she doesn't see what Marithari saw equally, she does feel the weight of this death. She does blame herself. It's not like she's denying it or saying that, like, had she listened, like, she has accepted that this is her fault, and she continues to feel terrible about the pain she's putting her clan through. So it's not like she's doing this willy-nilly, like you would imagine some of the other blood mages we've encountered, and just like, who cares, sacrifices or sacrifices. She does not feel that way at all. She does understand the cost and does feel the weight of it.
After the Marithari incident, the clan meets us outside looking for the keeper, and Meryl is understandably distraught. What did you say?
I said I'd take responsibility.
You did!
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah. So this, remember the thing I said to put in our Croft for later? I'm probably using that terminology wrong. I have supported Meryl most of the way through this endeavor, turning, not a blind eye, but turning away from stuff that I think is a bad idea because I trusted her. But at the start of this mission, it became very clear that that trust had to, like, I couldn't trust her like that anymore. It's clear that she was going to go down this path and get herself killed. And so I said that at the end because I feel like this is my responsibility. I went along with it. I believed her when she said she was in control and knew what she was doing. But this experience with with Marithari and with the demon proved to me that I was wrong, that I should have done better, and that I should have, since day one, what I agreed to was to take responsibility for Meryl, and I hadn't done that, and now I will.
I said it because I wanted to deflect their attention off of her.
Mm-hmm.
Because if...
I mean, same, yeah.
Yeah, like, if they are focused on me instead of her, then that might, like, diffuse some of their aggression.
Uh-huh.
Which upsets Meryl immensely.
Yeah,
she hates
she
my
did not
fucking
like that.
guts now.
Yeah. We might be rivals now. We weren't before,
Yeah.
but we might be now.
I think one of the characters says the Keeper loved her more than she loved the clan.
Yeah.
And I'm not a parent. You're a pet parent. But I think that ideally, your parent should love you that way.
Yes.
You know, like, you should be more important to your parent than, you know, what society says is right.
Yeah.
And I think Marithari tried to embody that. And for that, I honor Marithari.
Sure. I think ultimately what she did because she thought it was the right thing and because she loved Meryl. Full stop. There's no arguing that.
Yeah. I just wish she clued someone in, man.
Marithari knows that we're really capable. We've done other stuff together. You know, we saved the mind of an elven mage at one point, like, together. Like, yeah, just a bummer.
I'm sad. But leaving aside what we actually did.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the first time I ever played this.
Yes, because that's what happened to me also on my first playthrough. You're going to talk about when you say that Marithari was possessed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you choose that option, the entire clan turns on you and you have to fight all of them.
And you slaughter the entire clan.
You wipe them out. The vendors, like the quest givers.
It's so upsetting.
Uh-huh.
And for a really long time, I thought that was the only way that this quest ended. It was only when I got into, like, reading guides and seeing what outcomes were that I discovered that no, like, there is a way to save the clan. and I do want to specify that I didn't choose I'll take responsibility to save the clan. I knew that that was going to be the outcome, but I chose it because I did think that that was the best way to try and deflect their attention and protect Meryl, because they were getting aggro and I was like, oh, I don't want them to turn on us. So maybe if I like make myself the beacon of hate.
Well, and it's also like, it's not like you and I have ever taken the blame for something one of our more, say, screw up friends from our past had done to take the heat off of them. So
Yeah.
it's not against our character either.
Yeah. So I was afraid that maybe you went for Marathari was possessed and we were going to have a slaughtered Dalish clan.
Yeah, no, I did not.
I was worried about it. Okay. Yeah, that was the entire mission.
Yep, sure was.
It's really upsetting.
Yeah, and I think I'm conflicted about Meryl as a character. Like, I actually think to make a blood mage doing it for the right reasons, so bubbly and so naive, makes for an interesting character on the outset. But interacting with that character feels way more complicated, which is to the point. But it does, like, I'm still on the fence whether I like Meryl as a character or not. Because when I first encountered Meryl in my very first playthrough, I did not like her. And on subsequent playthroughs, I've warmed up to her. But I still have like a lot of conflict around the way this is handled. But I think that's the mark of a really good character if I'm not okay with all of it, you know?
Yeah. Like, characters should have complexity. They should not be constantly perfect. You should be able to see flaws in them, because that is how we can truly relate to them.
Yeah,
absolutely. We are not perfect people. We have flaws, and when we see flaws in fiction, we know that it is okay to have those flaws.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think that Meryl is purely naive.
No.
I think that the naivete is it's not a put on. I think she seems more naive because she's not used to city life.
Right. Well, and I think also part of it is she seems naive because she genuinely does feel like when someone genuinely believes in other people, despite the information presented to them, that can be viewed as naivety, but a lot of it is more that they are just they want to see the best in all people, and she's very much like that, even at the expense of the reality that's around her.
Yeah. Meryl.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to move on to other things?
Yes. We have a missive from the incredible Callie, a voicemail to play, and so I'm going to play that here, and we'll be right back.
Anathara, everyone. Here are some thoughts on episode 40, Mind Massacre, and A Murder of Crows. Definitely not saying a high dragon cannot be a he, but Thedosian species have a large degree of sexual dimorphism, and all the ones with wings and the potential to become high dragons are assigned female at hatching, so most would probably prefer she. We have no evidence that this particular high dragon is transmasc, but we also have no evidence it is not, and I am definitely not complaining about that interpretation, just taking the opportunity to talk war. Killing a high dragon and so many of its children makes my heart hurt. I also did not exactly enjoy the encounter design, but after how much the mechanics of dragon fights in Veilguard annoyed me, this one was refreshing. I also took control of the mine, but neither for profit nor to close off the area. At last, it is time to reinvent this operation as a democratic worker co-op. Now, A Murder of Crows. Unfortunate that the only way to get any indication that Zevran is trustworthy is to have specific companions present. I was frustrated by neither side giving me any evidence. However, Zevran did bluntly admit to inconvenient things like being a murderer, and that convinced me he was probably being honest. I think the framing of Varric telling this story is the only way I can make it make sense that so many characters we recognize from Origins happen to pass through this one specific city. I like that the larger scale of Inquisition and Veilguard helps the many small connections feel plausible. As always, many thanks to Matt and Frankie for taking the time and effort to make Reignite. And remember, all Templars are bastards, and they must be abolished and held accountable for what they have done. Also bastards, Hubert, and the Crows.
Thank you, Callie, for that, as always. By the way, my voice is starting to get worse as the episode progresses. I'm getting over being sick, so I apologize for the raspiness, although I know some of y'all like that, so who knows.
Giving people ASMR tingles.
But thank you, Callie, as always. We appreciate when you submit that we can post great insights that we can play on the show. Thank you for being a part of our community. And again, if you also would like to have a voicemail played on the show, you can send it to us via our email. You can send it to us via Discord. There's really a ton of ways to get it to us, and we're happy to share your thoughts on the show during this section as well. It is not just exclusively the Callie corner, although it is these days.
Speaking of corners, let's head over to a different corner. Fandom corner.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're getting over being sick. I had a party last night.
Both suffering at the same level. It's truly hard.
Well, I didn't sleep.
Okay.
There were people in my house. You think I can sleep when people are in my house? It's weird.
Okay.
Okay, so for Fandom Corner this week, I bring you Tiny Bookshop, which is a very soothing resource management game where you supply books to a literary community and give recommendations to those looking for something new to read. I've been playing it obsessively lately, and I think it's because it really quiets my brain. You get to decorate your mobile bookshop, you buy used books from the locals in the community, you make memories, and you even solve some mysteries. It's cozy, it's easy, and it also gives a little look into what it's like to manage your own business in a way. It's not a one-to-one parallel, but there's this aspect of realism to the constant need to spend money in order to make money, the hoops you have to jump through in order to prove your business acumen, joining business groups and networks, and deciding what's important to you, making money or being a member of the community. It is available on Steam and on Switch. And yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. I have to thank Matt for getting it for me for my birthday. I've been having a really good time playing it. I got my friend Harley into it for reasons. The only thing it lacks is romance.
That's true. Well, it's one of those games that when I saw it, I went, this is a Frankie game, sight unseen. Like, there are not a lot of them, but when I see them, I know them. But I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I want to like management sims like this, but I can't do it.
No, that's totally fair. It's not for everyone.
Like, everyone's freaking out about Pokemon Pokopia, the new Pokemon game that's basically a mix of Dragon Quest Builders, Minecraft, and like a life sim, and it's getting great reviews. People are really enjoying it, and it looks cool. But the same thing happened with Animal Crossing, happened with Potion Permit, happened with Stardew Valley. If I try and play one of those by myself on my own, I eventually burn out as it starts to open up. It's just I can't get into those games. But I'm glad you liked it, and like it looks super cute, and I'm glad you've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that makes the resource management easiest is that there's the recommendation aspect. And if you're a big reader, then that can be really exciting because, you know, if you know a lot about different genres and different books, then you already have a recommendation in your head. You just have to see if you have it on your virtual shelf and not just in your brain. And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But it's also really exciting to see books in the game that I've actually read or books I have seen in the world. So as a book lover, as an aspiring bookstore owner, it's really inspiring and comforting in a lot of ways.
if they make a sequel called Tiny Game Store, then maybe I'll have
Yeah.
that pull. But
Yeah.
but
Maybe you'll
alas,
vibe with it.
considering I managed to get through a couple of books a year because I'm a very slow reader and mostly I do audiobooks.
Preach.
It's just hard for me to dive in, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm also bringing a game. I've been playing a bunch of stuff recently. Friend of the show, Dave Jackson, over on Tales from the Backlog, has a backlog resolutions challenge they do every year where they make a massive spreadsheet and everyone picks a tab and then makes a list from their larger backlog of a smaller list of games they want to play that upcoming year. As a way to make it more manageable, instead of looking at 300 or 500 Steam games, you're looking at 20 games and trying to decide what to play. And this will be my third year participating. 2 years ago, I did pretty well. I think I got through 75% of my list. Last year, I got through like 20% of my list. And so this year, I set it up to be like 25 games, so 2 games a month. I'm already ahead. I've already played 2 games each month, and we're just at the beginning of March as when we're recording. And so the game I played most recently was one of those games. It's a game called Gris or Gris. I'm not positive how to pronounce it. It's Gris. And it's a game about loss and grieving. And I knew it was. And when I went into it, like I had already seen screenshots. I knew that the art was hand drawn and gorgeous, and the platforming was intricate and unique, and the puzzles were fun, and that it was only a couple hours long. And so I really knew that I knew I would enjoy it just from the vibes I got of it, and have been meaning to play it forever. And as I'm playing through it, you play as this young girl who's traversing through this fantasy world, this fanciful kind of dreamlike place. And repeatedly encountering a large woman made of stone, sometimes in pieces. And so it's clear that she's grieving. This is a daughter-mother probably relationship. And so I knew it was about grief. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's beautiful. The score is sweeping. And I knew that like the music could probably get to me. But like most of the way through the game, I think about 2/3, I had this thought of like, oh, I'm an easy cry on video games. We've talked about this before. And it's like, I guess it's not going to reach me that way, which is totally fine. It was still a beautiful game. And then there's a moment towards the end, without completely spoiling it, where you are overcome by grief and have to like find your way out. And you get a moment to reconnect with this larger figure and sing together and hug them and hold them. And like the whole thing just like crescendos, and I became a ugly crying weeping mess. Like it ruined me. But I loved my experience with this game. It's one of those games that like you look at a game and go, this is art. Like this is what games as art means. It's one of those games, but it's also an easy to pick up platforming game that has unique mechanics, but still folds them into the vibe of the game. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only about 3.5 hours long or so. It's currently available on PlayStation Plus if you have access to that. I know it's on Switch. I know it's on Xbox and PC as well. It's phenomenal. If you are someone who has felt loss on any level and want a cathartic game to play to see how someone else interprets this feeling, I can't recommend it enough. Again, it's Gris, Gris. It's been out for a while. This is the same studio that released a recent game called Neva, Neva, about a young girl and a wolf that like are surviving together. It seems like it's going to be a similar kind of vibe. Like the mom of the wolf cub dies in the trailer, so like what the vibe is going to be. But I'm enamored with the studio now. I'm going to play Neva when I have time. It's also a 2 or 3 hour game, and I'm a fan of the studio for life. Like I don't have to feel something from a game to make me want to like devote myself to that studio and their work. But if you do, that's always a step up, right? Games can just be fun and entertaining, and that can make me a lifetime fan as well. But when you make me feel something, narrative is always going to pull me further than mechanics ever will, as much as I like mechanics, because I will suffer through mediocre mechanics to get to a really great story and have done. But that's not a problem here with this game because, again, it's one of the tightest platformers I've ever played and happens to be an incredible translation of dealing with grief as well.
I probably will not play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just because I cry enough. I don't need more.
Yeah, that is legit.
You want to tell folks about our next episode?
Yes. So, considering the length of this episode, as you are currently listening to it, and it's probably going to come out at, just under 40 minutes, we're going to double up on the companion quests for the next episode. We're going to do Justice and Alone, which are Fenris and Anders' quests. So Anders is? Yeah,
Anders.
Sure, why not? So do those, and then we're going to talk about it. Yeah. And we may pair up the rest of the companion quests. We'll have to see. I know a few of them go a little longer, but a lot of them are pretty short.
Yeah. Varric's is kind of longer. I think Isabella's is longer.
Yeah.
But Alone and Justice are not even 10 minutes each, I think.
Yeah. So come back in 2 weeks equipped to talk about those. And let's
to talk at us while you listen to us.
Correct. I mean, you could type in real time in the Discord as well. There's ways. Exactly. All right. Let's
wrap it up.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some other metaphor, and my brain is working at like a third capacity, so I couldn't get there.
Third capacity.
Oh yeah, we're really struggle bussing today.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you like what you heard here, you can follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky as Frankie B. Writes and DJ Stormageddon.
You can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on any podcatcher you please. It helps us get seen so other folks can find the podcast. I know we have listeners who have not yet reviewed our podcast on certain platforms. Please do.
What?
I know for a fact. I'm looking at you, Troidal Power. No, I'm kidding. I know you reviewed us.
I was about to say.
No, I know Troidal Power has reviewed us. No, but seriously, rate and review really helps. It helps us grow this community. We love how interactive you were. Oh, this is our first episode since we did the craft night, which was a huge success. So I just want to thank the folks who turned up. It was a fun time. Frankie and I are probably going to organize more live-ish events, but figuring out what that is and the timing. But that was fun. It was a nice trial. We had some folks show up that haven't even really interacted with the podcast a ton, that are just friends of mine or Frankie from the Discord. So that was really great. So thanks for coming through. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so more on that, as you know, if you're not in the Discord yet, there's a link in the show notes. Go join, because that's where we're going to put that information in the future as we plan more stuff.
Speaking of, you should know by now that we're members of the Certain Point of View Network. Visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find that permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website, where you can join in the conversation.
As for personal plugs, as of when you're hearing this, we're just a few weeks away from PAX East. I'm really excited to be going again, along with Jen and Sarah from Fun and Games. We're starting to book interviews. I'm going to be up on a panel on Thursday night. I'm really excited to be going back to Boston for this. I love this event every year. It's one of my favorites. If you want to come see my panel, you can. It is on Thursday night, as I had said. It is at 9 p.m. It's in the Condor Theater, and it's called Game Pretty. It's a play on Jeopardy, hosted by the incredible Adam Gumbert, and Claire Afterall from Date With Us is on that panel. Jacob McCourt's on that panel. Asa Green River is on that panel. So really cool, awesome video games folks as we compete in trivia. And, I mop the floor with everyone, obviously.
I believe in you.
I thank you. But I'll also be walking the floor. If you see me, please say hi. Would love to see you there. I know that a bunch of listeners from this community and a few other communities I'm in will be there, which is exciting. So that's the big thing for me. Otherwise, djstormageddon.com is all the other stuff.
For me, my website remains frankiebwrites.com, where you can hire me out for podcasting, voiceovers, writing, editing, proofreading, or you can just drop me a message. Maybe kick me $1 or $2 for being your favorite little internet jester. If you are interested in stuff that I am doing, I have a project in the works, and you can follow Romance Society Books on Instagram and TikTok. nothing is there yet, but if you want to be on the ground floor, you can go check it out. Stuff is going to happen.
You could also read a more in-depth blog. That's right. Frankie actually blogged about a week ago about Tokyo Rose. So if you couldn't get enough Tokyo Rose, if you didn't get enough Tokyo Rose from our conversation last episode, you can also go read that blog. It's very good.
I have to write a new blog about the stuff that I just alluded to, so...
We, of course, want to thank Case Aiken for developing some awesome t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com in the merch store. And also, of course, thank Case for each individual episode show art and my endless amount of notes, because I don't give them in the initial email and I don't think of it until you do something that I don't like, and I apologize.
Oh, Case. We truly don't deserve you.
No, that is definitely true. He is the best, and we love him.
You're just too good for us.
Yes, correct.
Speaking of what we don't deserve, do we truly deserve such an awesome theme song as we have from Miracle of Sound? If you've been jamming along to our theme music, then you should head to miracleofsound.rocks and check out Gavin Dunn's other music and merch.
Please do that. Also, if you've been admiring our awesome logo, because it is awesome, you can thank Red Speaks for that. And you can find more of his awesome work at Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
And lastly, thank you for listening. I'm Frankie.
And I am at aka Stormageddon.
And I forgot who I was for a minute. But remember, all Templars are bastards.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this fight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, Jim.
You're a fan of the Legion of Superheroes, right?
Yeah, I've been reading their adventures for decades.
Me too. It was tough at first with all the characters, but now I think I'm an expert.
It's not too hard to get into the Legion. And to make it even easier, we have a podcast called Long Live the Legion. We talk about different aspects of all its history to help you out.
So whether you're a new reader in the Legion Academy, or have your own flight ring, or anywhere in between, a Long Live the Legion podcast should be on your playlist.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.